Hi guys, welcome to another stream. Today we're gonna be reviewing this book. It's called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and it's a guide to spiritual enlightenment. All right, how are you, everyone? Let's see who's in the chat. Hey guys, another day. It's only me, but it's all right. All right, guys. So let's get started. And so this book is more for like how to live in the present moment and stop, overthinking and living in the past. So this is a very powerful book. I read this a couple years ago, and it really helped me out, and how to let go of the past and start living, in the present, living more intentionally, and trying to get to the peace, to the level of enlightenment, which is, I think, for me, live peacefully in harmony, and with yourself and the people around you. Okay, so I highlight, as always, what most stand out to me in the book. So I'm gonna be reading the passages that I highlight, and then we're gonna be talking about um, the book and the passages, some chapters. Okay, if you have any questions, you can drop it in the chat, and I will be happy to answer them. Okay, all right, let's get started. You are here to enable the divine purpose of the universe to unfold. That is how important you are. Eckhart Tolle. See? Okay, so the first thing that I highlight is your mind is an instrument, a tool. The question, it says, isn't thinking essential in order to survive in this world? Again, isn't thinking essential in order to survive in this world? Your mind is an instrument, a tool. It is there to be used for a specific task, and when the task is completed, you lay it down. As it is, I would say about to 80 to 90% of most people's thinking is not only repetitive and useless, but because of its dysfunctional and often negative nature, much of it is also harmful. Observe your mind and you will find this to be true. It causes a serious leakage of vital energy. This kind of compulsive thinking is actually an addiction. What characterizes an addiction? Quite simply this: you no longer feel that you have the choice to stop. It seems stronger than you. It also gives you a false sense of pleasure, pleasure that invariably turns into pain. Okay, so what we can find here is, your mind is, you know, your most powerful weapon that you have as a human being. And however, how you feel your mind, how you train your mind, is how will you react to certain things, you know so that's why you need to, like, train your mind to be stronger, so when you are faced with situations or decisions that you have to make, you have a more clear thinking and how to resolve those problems. So that's what is, your mind is very important to survive in this world. And this comes to, in terms of, like, making money, achieving your dreams, chasing your goals. It's always thinking. You need to be thinking, how I can get this, how I'm gonna get this, what do I need to do to get where I wanna be. You know, everything is thinking. And if you have the right, tool, it will be easier for you to achieve your dreams. That's why you gotta, it says your mind is a tool, because when you start thinking about your future, about what you want to do, you're going to be able to, follow a plan, or like create, a specific task that will get you to where you want to be. All right. That's what I understand in this chapter. The mind is essentially a survival machine, attack and defense against other minds, gathering, storing, and analyzing information. This is what it's good at, but it's not at all creative. The mind is essential a survival machine, attack and defense against other minds, gathering, storing, and analyzing information. So what it says is your mind, is always storing and gathering and analyzing information. So every day you're getting new information. So, and whether it's negative or positive, you are achieving and storing this, like information. So sometimes we you get like information that is negative, or like harmful, and you need to be careful if you want to like storage that in your mind or just let it go. And I think the best thing for you to do is, when you get some useful information, you need to storage, and other information that is not positive or negative, you know you need to like let it go, and like let it, like, take it away from your mind. And that's why it's very important to, always, try to reconnect with yourself, and like keep the things that are useful to you, and let go the things that are not useful to you, to let it go, like whether it's feelings, or it's some things that people have said to you, whatever it is, you need to let it go. Don't gotta keep everything storage in your mind. Okay. Even when the sky is heavily overcast, the sun hasn't disappeared. It is still there on the other side of the clouds. Even when the sky is heavily overcast, the sun hasn't disappeared. It's still there on the other side of the clouds. The Buddha says the pain or suffering arises through desire or craving, and that to be free of pain, we need to cut the bonds of desire. All cravings are the mind seeking validation, salvation, or fulfillment in external things and in the future as a substitute for the joy of being. So this is very powerful, guys. Like, because suffering, we create suffering through desire, because we want something, or we wanna, like, own something. Whether it's, sometimes could be, in relationships, for example, like you create your own suffering by wanting to, be with this specific person. And if this person, doesn't reciprocate your feelings, then you are suffering, because you're not gonna get, or you're not gonna be involved with this person, because you are desiring this person. you know. But this person is not, like, she don't have to, reciprocate to your feelings, you know. So then, we want validation. We want to feel love, or we want to feel like. And then, if none of these things are happening, then, we're suffering. We're like, why, asking questions. And also could be, like, things like, materialistic stuff, like cars, or like, I don't know, anything that you want, that you desire. You are attached to these things, therefore you're suffering. Then you start saying, when I get this, I might be happy, or when I get this, I'll be, you know I'll start living life. No, that's you. That's your desire, and that's what's causing you pain, suffering, or overthinking. And to free yourself from those situations, from this pain or suffering, you need to cut all, bonds, and you need to cut it off, and be, to be free. You need to let go. You need to let go of these things. um, and this comes more like when you practice, I think, letting go. And it could be a very hard journey to go on, but it's not impossible, guys. So, don't get attached to things or people, because suffering comes from attachment. When you are attached to something or someone, best thing is to let it go, and, like they say, go with the flow. Don't get attached to anything in life, because nothing is eternal. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. Realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have. Make the now the primary focus of your life. The present moment is sometimes unacceptable, unpleasant, or awful. It is as it is. Observe how the mind labels, and how the labeling process, this continuous sitting in judgment, creates pain and unhappiness. By watching the mechanisms of the mind, you step out of its resistance pattern, and you can then allow the present moment to be. So, when, like, if you realize, like, the present moment, like, to be right now present is all you ever have. Like, there is no past, there is no future, is right now. And sometimes it's not gonna be, happy. It's not gonna be pleasant. It's not gonna be, how you want it to be. But this is what you have. So you need to be. I'm not gonna say you need to be content. You just need to accept it. Accept the present moment as it is. Whether it's bad or good, and just remember that this is not gonna be, forever. Every time, every day is gonna be, we're constantly changing. As a human beings, we're constantly changing. But you also need to, not think as, the past, or, what is the future. What it matters right now is, what you do today, what you're doing right now, to, create a better future. So you need to have a balance in your life. You cannot be overthinking in the future, and you cannot be living in the past, because the past does not exist anymore. It's gone, and the future is uncertain. So, just try to, live more intentionally the present moment, and make the best decisions that you can, so you know we can have possibly a better you know future, better tomorrow, because nothing is guaranteed at the end of the day, and you need to be okay with that. you know Life is very fragile. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. This is a tricky one. The secret of life is to die before you die and find that there is no death. I think, you know, once you let go of the idea of death, of the fear of dying, I think you become free. Because believe it or not, like a lot of people are scared of like if when they're gonna die or how are they gonna die and things like that, and they don't realize that's just living with fear, living like when I'm gonna die, that's uncertain, nobody knows. But I think the trick, is to live, very how can I say, to live every day not as is your last day, but to live intentionally. Try to do the right thing. You know be kind to other people every day, and don't live with anger. Let go of things. And I think if you do that every day, and if when your time comes, I don't think you will be scared anymore, because you have been living life to the best of your abilities as a human being. you know and I think the best way to live is just be in harmony with yourself and in life. You don't want to be hating yourself, or you don't want to be hating others, or be angry to the world and even to yourself. You need to let go of all those thoughts, and start living more intentionally with yourself and others as well. It's kind of After all, the past determines who we are, as well as we perceive and behave in the present, and our future goals determine which actions we take in the present. That's a good one. So it says the past determines who we are right now. So whatever actions that you have made in the past, you are right now, because your actions from the past reflect the present moment, and your actions from the present moment will reflect in your future. We talked about this before. So if you know if your life is a mess right now, it's because you have made not a good choices in the past. That's why your life is like that. But if you change your life in the present, and that's going to be a cycle if you continue to do that. But if you realize and you are self-aware of you have made wrong decisions, or you have made mistakes in the past, now in the present moment you can change it, so you can have a better future. So how we are right now, where we are right now, is because of the past, and how are we going to be in the future is of the decisions of we're making right now in the present moment. All right. Nothing ever happened in the past, it happened in the now. Nothing will ever happen in the future, it will happen in the now. All negativity is caused by an accumulation of psychological time and denial of the present. Unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. Guilt, regret, resentment, grievance, sadness, bitterness, and all forms of non-forgiving forgiveness are caused by too much past and not enough present. All right, this is a good one. All right, so all if you have anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all these forms of fear are caused because you are thinking too much in the future and you're not living the present moment. And if you have guilt, regret, resentment, sadness, bitterness, and all forms of non forgiveness are caused by too much past because you are living in the past and not enough in the present moment. So, what this is trying to say is, sometimes we're anxious, we're stressed, we're worried, it's because you're thinking like what is going to happen in the future. What is going to happen in the future or like what my life is going to be, like things like that. And if you're feeling guilt, regret, resentment, is because you're thinking about the past. Oh, this person did something to me, my dad did something to me, like I will never be able to forget this person because they did this such and such. It's because you are thinking in the past. So you're not living in the present. You're always thinking whether the future of the past or the past. So if you ever catch yourself, like being worried or resentment or resentful or angry towards someone, it's because you're thinking of something that they did in the past and you're not able to forgive them because you know you're thinking in the action that they did in the past. Some way you're still living in the past as well. So how do I stop thinking in the past? By living more intentionally in the future. I mean, in the present moment. Sorry. So when you start, living in the present moment, you won't probably have time to, be worrying about, you know, how my life is gonna be in 5 years, or like this person did this to me when in 2023, 24. You're not living the present, the present moment. And I'm not saying that you don't have to be thinking about those things because sometimes it's impossible, but you need to let go. You need to let go of those thoughts. Yes, maybe someone hurt you. I get that. But it's time to let go and start living your life in the present moment. And what is the present moment right now? Look at your circumstances. Maybe you are good in life. Maybe you're not hurt anymore. But every time you remember and you go back to the past, you still get hurt. So start living more in the present moment and not try not to look back because the past is the past. You know, nothing is gonna go back. You cannot go back and change it. It's already done. So guys, you know, if you're catching yourself being resentful or angry or regretful, it's because of the past, and you need to not let go, and you need to do the work of healing, you know. And if you are feeling anxious or worried, is because you're, you know, thinking too much in the future. And that's, not saying it's a bad thing, because, we always want to think ahead, you know, because we have goals, we have dreams, we got to think about it. But don't live too much. Enjoy the process, enjoy the present moment, and enjoy the process to where you want to be. Right? All right. There is no salvation in time. You cannot be free in the future. Presence is the key to freedom. You can only be free now. Forget about your life situations for a while and pay attention to your life. Your life situation exists in time. Your life is now. Your life situation is mind stuff. Your life is real. When you are full of problems, there is no room for anything new to enter, no room for a solution. So, whenever you can, make some room, create some space so that you find a life underneath your life situations. And this is very true, guys. When you are in this, negative, negative, space of mind, you will think that, there is no solutions, there's nothing that you can do to improve your life or get out of whatever situation that you are in. It has happened to me, when I'm feeling negative, I'm being very negative, and there's no solutions. But I'm always thinking the negative. I'm not thinking like right now in the present moment. I'm thinking in the future, I'm thinking the past, and there is no room for you to, be like, okay, let me relax and let me, maybe go for a walk and now think about, my life right now. What is it I need to do? What is it I need to change? Or what is it I need to, like, you know, incorporate in my life, so, I can change, or I can fix this problem. Sometimes you are in a very dark place in your mind, that there's everything that you see is negative, everything. But if you take a moment to, relax and sit down, or, reflect, you will see that, it has a solution. You can fix it. So, the best thing I can say to you guys, whenever you have all these problems in life, I'll suggest you guys go for a walk or sit down and, like, think about solution. Trust me, guys. Pretty much everything in this life has a solution, except, death. When once you are facing that, then there's nothing you can do. But you might be in a position where you think there is no way out. But trust me, there is a way out. There is a light. Okay. Ultimately, this is not about solving your problems. It's about realizing that there are no problems, only solutions. Only, no, only situations. Ultimately, this is not about solving your problems. It's about realizing that there are no problems, only situations. And this is true. Whatever problem that you have right now, you're not going to have it for the rest of your life. Could be anything. Could be, you are in a, I don't know, let me put an example. You have problems with money. You're not able to afford paying your rent, for example. or you have problems with your car, or you have problems with your, I don't know, your spouse maybe, or your girlfriend, maybe you broke up with someone, and that's you think, this is my problem, or I don't know what to do, I'm always gonna have this problem for the rest of my life. No, it's only a situation. Maybe this month I couldn't pay the rent, but next month I will, start putting more hours, and then, I'll be able to afford the rent. A problem is just a situation right now. It's not a problem for the rest of your life. Anything that you're facing right now, just remember this is only temporary. It's not permanent. It's gonna pass, and you're gonna find a solution. It's only a bad phase in your life. It's not forever. So always remember that, guys. A problem, it's not forever. It's only a situation. Approach life in a different, way. When you create a problem, you create pain. All it takes is a simple choice, a simple decision. No matter what happens, I will create no more pain for myself. If you create no more pain for yourself, then you can create no more pain for others. You also no longer contaminate the beautiful earth, your inner peace, your inner space, and the collective human physique with the negativity of problem making. So you only, one decision to change your life and to, stop suffering. you know Sometimes, we face problems, and we only need to make, to take action in order to fix those problems. And, when we have a problem, I know it's painful. You suffer, other people suffer, but once you take the decision to change your life and, fix your problems and find a solution, then you create inner peace for yourself, get rid of pain for you and maybe for other people, because sometimes, your problems may affect other people as well. Okay, let's keep breathing. Let's keep breathing. Okay. Either stop doing what you are doing, speak to the person concerned, and express fully what you feel. Either stop doing what you're doing, speak to the person concerned, and express fully how you feel. This is, very powerful. Sometimes, you need to face your problems, and, sometimes, you have problems with people. So you need to, you need to be straightforward and, face these situations and, say how you feel, or, apologize, or, take accountability to the other person in order for you to move on and, find a solution. You need to express how you feel, and you cannot just run from your problems. You need to find, and you need to express yourself, whether it's apologizing, or whether it is, like, saying, this is not how it looks like. It was different. Let's talk about it. So always, express how you feel, and always, try to talk things out with maybe your friends, family, whoever. We should give ourselves permission to have whatever feelings come up, come up, rather than judge them as bad or say that we shouldn't have them. It is okay to feel resentful. It's okay to be angry, irritated, moody, or whatever. Otherwise, we get into repression, inner conflict, or denial. Everything is okay as it is. Humans are a dangerously insane and very sick species. It's okay, guys, to feel resentful toward your parents or your friends or I don't know whoever that did wrong to you. It's okay to feel regretful because some things that we have done in the past. You know, this book is not saying that you shouldn't, that you should avoid all these, emotions that makes you human. No, it's just saying that you need to approach life in a different way. Instead of being, feeling all these emotions, which is okay. You also, need to find solutions for these emotions, and most of these emotions that we have of being resentful, angry, or like what else, annoyed, is because of experiences that we went through in the past, whether it's with our families, friends, lovers, anything. I think the key to to get rid of, not to get rid of it, but to move on from these emotions is to live more in the present and start forgiving. And forgiving doesn't mean that you have to talk to this person every day, or you know get back with them or whatever. It just means it needs to be forgiving, so you can move on from the past and let go of these emotions. You don't want to be resentful to with people that have done wrong to you, because then what life you want to live, being resentful or your life, remembering every year, every day, every week, saying, oh yeah, this person did this to me, or that person did that to me, my dad, my mom did this to me when I was a kid. No, you are not living, you're not a kid anymore, you're not living in the past anymore. What are you now? Where are you now? Here. And what is here? Now. Here is now. Okay. Any action is often better than no action, especially if you have been stuck in an unhappy situation for a long time. If it is a mistake, at least you learn something, in which case it's no longer a mistake. If you remain stuck, you learn nothing. Alright, guys. Is fear preventing you from taking action? Acknowledgement, the fear. Acknowledge the fear. Watch it. Take your attention into it. Be fully present with doing it. Doing so casts a link between the fear and your thinking. Don't let the fear rise up in your mind. Use the power of the now. Fear cannot prevail against it. So, so for everything, for every problem or every circumstance that you are right now, raw action is the way. You need to do raw action. Like if you're feeling negative, of you're feeling depressed or whatever, you need to take steps. Go for walks, or go to the gym, or sign up for classes. I don't know. You know, action, raw action will fix your problems. If you're behind your bills, if you cannot find jobs, you still need to get up and take action. Go apply for more jobs. Go to more interviews. Call people. All these things. Action. If you're just waiting, you're not learning anything. Like you need to be doing something. Always, you know you always be doing something. You cannot be just stuck in one place, doing nothing. Whatever problem you have, whatever situation you are in right now, you need to face it with raw action, taking action, so you can take control of your situation, control of your life. All right. Stress is caused by being here but wanting to be there, or being in the present but wanting to be in the future. It's a split that tears you apart inside. And that's, my friend, very accurate. When you're stressed about something, it's because you're just worrying too much, like about the situation or the, you know, what I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna do it, and things like that. You're anxious. You just let it go, and prepare yourself in the present moment. Then I think your stress will vanish because now you're just doing the best you can in the present moment. And then if you do the best you can in the present moment, then there's no reason for you to do bad in the future. Because with what we do right now is gonna reflect in the future. So don't be stressed about it too much. Instead, do something right now, and it will turn out okay. It will turn out okay. I guarantee you guys. Guarantee you that. Okay, we'll continue doing this book. But if you are trapped in a nightmare, you will probably be more strongly motivated to awake than someone who is just caught up in ups and downs of an ordinary dream. Yes, that's true, guys. So I will simplify this. So if you're trapped in a nightmare, you will probably be more strongly motivated to awake than someone that is just caught up in the ups and downs of an ordinary dream. So for those who have hit rock bottom, you will be so much motivated than someone that is just having financial problems, maybe, or just regular problems of daily of what daily people have, like ordinary problems. I don't know. So sometimes we get into a place that is a nightmare, and you will do anything to wake up. It's not an ordinary dream, it's a nightmare. And nightmares suck, trust me. Nightmares suck. I don't know. Nightmares suck. Maybe maybe you hit a rock bottom. Maybe they kick you out of your house. They evicted your house. Maybe they suspend your license. I don't know. I'm just thinking, like what possible could be a nightmare. Your car got repossessed. You're losing your house. Those are nightmares, guys. But those times will give you motivation to want to get out of the situation, be like, what I need to do to not be in this place right now, what steps I need to take to get out of this situation to improve my life, what do I need to do, how I need to do to get out of this situation. So sometimes we're facing nightmares a lot of people are facing nightmares every day, and they are doing everything to wake up, and they will. That's why guys, these people that have everything in life sometimes is because they have been facing nightmares for a long time until they wake up. Because when you wake up, you're what, free. Sometimes our nightmares are in forms of you know struggling financially, maybe spiritually, and one day when you wake up, you're going to be free because you fight all these demons. you know. So it's okay, guys, to have nightmares. It's okay to have problems, but you need to keep fighting. So one day when you wake up, it's gonna be worth it because you're gonna be free. You may not be happy, but you will be at peace. You might not be happy, but you will be at peace. What does this mean? I think this means it's like, when you go through the, um, journey of, self improvement and, trying to live more intentionally in the present, it's like now you're gonna be, it's not gonna be rainbow, sunshines and rainbows. It's not that you're gonna be happy 24/7. No, but you will be at peace, meaning that every day might be the same. Probably not exciting is happening, but you'll be at peace. You'll be in harmony because now you're living intentionally every day. You're not mad at the world. You're not mad at your parents anymore. You're not mad at your, I don't know, at your ex girlfriend. You're not mad at your friends. You're not mad at yourself because you forgive. You're not living in the past anymore. You're not thinking about what they did to you in the past, like 3 years ago. You're not thinking, what your parents did to you in like 3, 4 years ago, and that you have to go through a lot. You're not thinking that anymore because, well, because you're not living in the past anymore. You are living where? In the present moment. And what happens in the present moment? Nothing really. Nothing happened. Still the same. What is hurting you is not the present moment, it's the past. Because right now nothing is happening. Like literally nothing is happening. Look, nothing is happening. Everything happening in the past. And whatever you are worrying in the future hasn't happened yet. So everything is all these, feelings or all these traumas that we have is because we could gone through hardships in the past. But if you take the time to say, okay, let me face these situations and try to forgive them or try to find a solution, you're gonna be you know in peace in the present moment. And what is the price to get to the harmony place? I think, I don't know, every human being should seek that, to live in harmony with yourself and others. Okay, all right. Every moment is the best. That is alignment. When you accept what it is, every piece of meat, every moment is the best. That's enlightenment. Have you ever guys heard that saying, "It is what it is"? Some people say like it's something negative, in a negative way. Oh, it is what it is. But no, I think that's one of the best, like things that you can say sometimes. It is what it is because you cannot change it. I wish it was like that. No, it is what it is. I wish it would be like that. No, it is what it is right now. That's your situation. That's what is happening. So when you start accepting things for how they are right now and how and let go of what you want them to be, I think you will live better off. You will live better. you'll have a better life, because then you will, be detached to some outcome of something, of somebody. Like, for example, you're meeting someone, right, for the first time, and you have some, romantic interest, and you can see that, that the person probably don't reciprocate the same way. You can be like, okay, it is what it is, and let go. Maybe, she becomes your friend, or maybe not. You let go, but you're not saying like, I wish she would like me, or I wish, like, she likes me, or I wish she liked me. No, it is what it is. And then you detach. You see them for who they are, and not for how you want them to be. It's okay. So that's how you need to, I think, approach life, with seeing things, seeing situations, or seeing people for who they are, and not for what you want them to be. And I think when you get to this level of awareness, you will realize that, you're not attached to these people. You're not attached to any outcomes. You just live in life every day, you know, in tune with yourself, and you're aware of what is happening, of the situation that is happening right now. So that's, a very powerful line. It is what it is. See things for what they are, rather than what you want them to be. And I think when you start living that way, your life becomes so much better, because you're not anxious for something to happen, and you're not wishing for something to happen, or you're not, thinking in the past. It's just seeing for how things are, and continue living your life. Sometimes your situation, you see your situation for how it is. Okay, it is what it is. I cannot change it. I can, not change what I did, what they did to me, but I can, reflect and be like, okay, now what I need to do for this to not happen to me again, or what can I do to improve my situation. But you're not gonna find anything thinking about it like, oh, I wish I did things different, or I wish I approached this person differently, or I wish I said this, or I wish I said that. You know, you're not gonna find a solution if you say if you keep saying that. You need to see things for what they are right now, and then, move accordingly. Right? Okay. We're almost done with this book, guys, and we are. When there is no way out, there is still always a way through. I will create no more pain, no more suffering. I will create no more pain, no more suffering. And how you do that? You will you will find the answer eventually, when you do the work, the inner work. Presence is the key. The now is the key. Presence is the key. The now is the key. How will I know when I have surrendered? When you no longer need to ask a question. That's the end, guys. Don't forget to read this book, and It's a very powerful book. When you read it, you will understand, better than what I'm trying to say. But I did this, book review because, for a long time I have been stuck, in the past, and that caused me to, you know, you know, waste time with some of my family, or like, not be in contact with some of my family because I was, stuck in the past for things that happened in the past and that affect me, and I was, resentful, I was mad, I was angry, and I was missing time with my family. And once I let go of, of the past, you know and start living more in the present moment, I become more free to the emotions, of being resentful, angry, for things that happen in life, you know and you know I started living better, living more intentionally with my family and living more in the present moment. So I would say, guys, I don't know, your situation. I don't know what happened to you. I don't know what kind of problems you have, what traumas do you have, or what people have done to you. I would say to, like, start doing the inner work. And I know it's hard. I know not everybody wants to, sit down with yourselves and be, why I need to change or I need to forgive. Because at the end of the day, we're human beings. We have made mistakes. Our parents have made mistakes, and nobody's perfect. And you know, you need to forgive. I think that's the solution. And whether it's yourself, I think probably that's very hard to do. And maybe you need to forgive your parents, or your friends, or someone that has done something that caused you pain. And forgiving doesn't mean that you have, to get back to how things were. It just means that, you let go of that situation and you don't want that situation to affect you anymore. Because if you don't forgive, let's say, you're gonna be resentful your whole life with your dad or someone in your family or some friends. It's be, like, okay, it happened. You didn't know better. I didn't know better. But now, I set you free. I set myself free, and I want to live more intentionally with my life. I want to be more peace. I want to be more at peace with myself. And when you're at peace with yourself, you're more peaceful with others as well. Like, you live in harmony, you know. Um, and that's, I think, one of the best things to experience in life. To live in harmony, to not live mad at the world, or live mad to other people, or even to yourself. Sometimes you hate yourself. That's that's the truth. But just, remember, we're not perfect. We're not. Nobody in this world is perfect. So you need to do the work of healing, and reflecting of your life, and trying to move forward and leave everything behind. Because it's not serving you. Like, whatever negativity, whatever things that have hurt you, whatever pain that you have, you need to, like, take it away from your mind and just throw it, because it doesn't serve you anymore. It's not doing any good to you. So I would say, guys, to do the inner work, and the better you do, the more, intentional you will live. You will live life, because life is very fragile. Like, life is very it's very fragile. We're here and we don't know if we're gonna be here tomorrow. Um, that happened to me, last year. I had a friend, and then he was very young. He was 19 years old, and he had a whole future ahead of him. We were not close, but I had him. I saw him a few times. We hang out a couple times. I went to his house, and I know him. And one day, I went to my dad asked me to go to his job to help him with something. So I went, and then he told me that he had died, and I was just shook, because I was like, "What? This kid, you know, this person just died. I just saw him like 2 weeks ago. He's gone." Like life is very fragile, guys. After that, I stopped. It was like sometimes you're worrying too much about silly things. You're not, living your life. And if you're not living your life, then you're just pretty much, I don't want to say wasting, but you're just not, you know, you're kind of wasting your life. I'm going to say you're wasting your life because life is beautiful at the end of the day. You know, if you can move, you can run, you can, like walk, you have everything. You have everything. So, that hit me. And, I went to his funeral, then we went to this place where we got balloons and, we throw in the air. And when I saw him in that, casket, I was like, wow, he's gone. Like physically, he's gone, but, his memory is staying our heart. But like, that's how fragile life it is. One day you are here and one day you don't exist anymore. You're gone. So, guys, like, try to, you know, live life in the present moment, enjoy life uh, with your family, friends, your parents, and, try to forgive yourself or your family or whatever, let go of the past, stop living in the past and start living more in the present moment because that's all we have. That's all we ever have is the present moment. There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow. Like, you don't know. And when you live more intentionally with yourself and life, then when you approach, when death get to you, probably you'll be more at peace. Because I'll say this, like, for example, in my experience, I try to be, like live my life every day, not as like it's my last day, but more, like intentionally. I try to wake up, and eat the food, that my grandparents cook for me, and when I leave the house, I always say goodbye. I always say, like, I give them a hug, or like, I say I'll see you later, because if I live in the house, and with a good impression, then if I don't come back, they will have a good memory of me, and I'll be happy because I'll be like, okay, I die. I say, when I left the house, I left in a good mood with my family. I say bye. But if you're just living angry all the time, you're living annoyed, and you just saying, nah, even you just leave the house, slam the door, be like, I'm just going out, or like, like, I don't want to eat, whatever. And what if something happens to you? Or what if when you come back? your parents are not there anymore. How are you gonna feel? The last thing I say to my parents is like, I don't want to eat this food, or like I slammed the door at them because I was mad with myself because I was going through some things. You don't want to live like that because you know you'll be probably living with pain your whole life because now you feel regret. And I'm not saying that you know you have to live happy every day. You have to be all like smiling and shit. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you need to live more intentionally. Like, do the work on yourself, to be more at peace, to let go of the past. If you are angry or mad at somebody or at the world, let go. Do the inner work. Because when you do the inner work and you become peaceful, then you're gonna be peaceful with the people that surround you. So when you leave the house, or where you're going somewhere, you will say goodbye. You'll say like no, thank you, or be like I'll be back. You will you will leave the house in a good way. And if God forbid something happens to you, your family will have a good memory of you. But if God forbid something happens to them, you'll be like, damn, bro, that was the last hug I gave to my parents. I didn't know it was gonna be the last. At least I hugged them. At least I said goodbye. But if you're not living, if you're living angry all the time, like feeling immortal that nothing's gonna happen to you, and then when do something happens to you, you wanna pay the price of regret. I shouldn't have done this. I should have treated them better. You know, not trying to be too deep into this, guys, but like sometimes we're angry, we're mad, we're resentful with other people because what happened in the past. But that's normal. That's we're allowed to feel those emotions. We're humans. I'm just saying that you need to face those emotions and heal. Don't be stuck in the past and try to live more in the future. In the present moment. Let go of the future, and try to live a more peaceful and intentionally. Try to live more intentionally. Try to live a more peaceful life with yourself, so you can be peaceful with others as well, because life is very fragile, and you don't know when it's going to be your last day here, and one day you're here and the next day you're not. So make the most out of your life, because you only have one shot. You're not going to be here again once you leave Earth. So all right, guys, I don't want to make this too long, and if you watch this video, thank you, guys, um, for watching, and don't forget to give me feedback at the end. Just comment anything that will help me out, so to see what can I improve. And I will see you next Thursday with a new book. I'm not sure which book we're gonna review yet, but like hopefully a good one. And take care, everyone. Be safe out there, and I will see you in the next. Till next time.